How are you feeling personally, Akil, being back in the team, having been out with injury? You feel much better?
Yeah, much better. Good to be back. Obviously, it's been a frustrating season, and even worse, obviously missing out the few games I missed out. But yeah, it's good to be back, and now it's about just getting us out of the position we're in now.
Yeah, and I mean, there are a lot of games where counting are just, hugely competitive, but just missing out by a goal. Do you feel the turning point? I know games are running out, but you're just about there.
Yeah, I mean, saying about a turning point, I think it's just at a point now we need to be winning games, as simple as that. And I say 7 games left, they're all just massive games, simple as that. We've got to start winning these games as quick as we can.
Managers used the phrase a couple of times, time is running out for you to get those points. Is that putting any extra pressure on the guys on the pitch?
I think it's pressure regardless, whether you're obviously down there or you're up there at the end of the day. It's a part of being a footballer. Obviously at the minute we find ourselves in a pressure where it's kind of a bad pressure, if you like, but you've just got to thrive with that pressure, and like I say, we believe in ourselves that we can overcome this challenge we're in at the minute, but just at this point, like you say, the games are running out, 7 games left, and yeah, it starts Saturday really. We need to make sure we're at our best against a team that's in form at the moment. We've been there recently and obviously lost 3-0, so yeah, we've got to start picking up 3 points quick as possible, really.
Does that result, I guess, from a few weeks ago, something that has been playing on the guys' minds, that extra motivation for you this weekend?
Yeah, you could say that. I think even obviously last week to St Johnstone, it's end of the day we've lost a game of football, so we need to make sure the following game we win the next one. 3 points are valuable at this point of the season, like we say, and teams around us, you don't want them kind of getting ahead of us really. So it's about like I say, taking care of our business, and hopefully the rest takes care of itself. Sorry.
Could be a big couple of weeks for Kenny, couldn't it? Because there's 4 teams within 3 points of each other at the minute. If you win the next couple of weeks, you could be above those. If you lose, you could be cut adrift. So it's quite critical, I guess, the stage of the season for you guys.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like I said, we've got to just make sure we do our business first, which is winning games of football, and results elsewhere. Hopefully, they go in our favour as well. But yeah, just about focusing on ourselves now, and everyone's got to be ready. Simple as that. There's no excuses. So yeah, on to Saturday really.
This comes at a season, Akil, that might be wrong, but I think last season you played every single game in the Premiership, but you've come in at a critical time, and you'll be delighted that you can now play your part, because it must have been frustrating seeing the team struggle this year.
Yeah, I mean, even when I was playing at the beginning of the season, we were struggling. So, it's having been out for 12 weeks, you kind of reflect on your performances when you were playing and what I could do better. And now hopefully I'm back in. Hopefully I can help get us out, like I said, where we are now, which is 10th in the league. It's obviously not nice to look at, but I've got that belief that we will be okay, and we'll get out of that position. And as a group, we all believe in ourselves. We've got some good players here. It's just been, like you say, a bad season, simple as that, the way it has been. But at the same time, it's up to us to get ourselves out of it, regardless of what's happened in the past. It's about right now, and making sure now, at the end of the season, we do what's right and what we need to do to finish off the season strong.
Probably about this time last year, things were looking really good for a team. I think you'd got to sort of this stage in the Premiership campaign, and you were even thinking about putting it to bed in terms of safety and everything, and then the difficult period came in. It's been a tough year for you, obviously, but how much that sort of harden you to the battle, because you're quite used to it, fighting at the lower end of the table now.
Yeah, obviously on last season that was obviously a tough one to take, because we were in a good position, like you say. Yeah. So kind of being in that situation again now, it's making sure it doesn't happen again. Obviously it's a pressure that we've just got to thrive over, like I've said, and that was obviously in the past. I think now it's about now, and making sure we get this club out of the position it's in at the moment. Yeah. I've got the belief, like I say, the lads have got all the belief. It's just about now, just less of the talking, I guess, and more just showing it on the pitch, and like I said, getting those massive 3 points.
I suppose it shows last season in the negative how quickly things can change, but hopefully in the positive things could change very dramatically, you know, in the last few games.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, it's just about us now focusing on ourselves, making sure we're ready, making sure we're doing the right things, doing what we need to do to get that performance, get that win that we need for the next 7 games. And like I said, every game now at the end of the season is massive. So yeah, it's no game's easy, of course not, but it's all right saying on our day we will be better than anybody, but it's just about us showing that consistency, which we haven't done throughout the season, and we get that now at the end of the season. I'm sure we'll be fine.
How tough is it to keep each other positive? You know, is that something that you work on consciously, or is it just something that's natural to you to kind of keep everyone buoyant, you know, and try and get the best possible atmosphere at the place?
I think everyone just has that in themselves, because at the end of the day, it's our livelihood, you know, it's our job, and we all do care at the end of the day. You know, no one wants to be here and be where we are now in this position that we're in. It is obviously frustrating, but you know, after the game's gone on a Saturday, you have to switch off really and onto the next game, simple as that, because the games come thick and fast, and you know, the full focus is obviously on Dunfermline on Saturday, and it's just about taking each game as they come. Don't look too far ahead, and obviously likewise don't dwell on, you know, the past results or whatever. It's just about full focus on the next game that's in front of you, and like I said, that is Saturday.
You talk about the players still having belief that you can get out of this. There have been a few times this season where managers have said they're training really well during the week, there's a good atmosphere around the group, as I was saying. Why do you think that hasn't always translated to Saturday?
Potentially could be from probably the previous result from a game. You know, so if you lose a game on a Saturday, you know, and it kind of have an effect on people, I guess, for bad performances, etc. But for me, it's like I say, at this point, obviously training is obviously important, but it's about showing it on a Saturday, which we haven't done enough this season. Myself, I've not done that enough. As a team, we've not done that enough. And like I say, we make sure we do that for the remaining 7 games.